Hi, this is Stephen Brower from Mountain Valley Community College. This video is for the computer literacy class. I apologize for not having this up yesterday, but what this video is going to focus is just on File Explorer, way in which we can look for files and manage our files on our computer. I'll have another video looking at little things in terms of window settings. Well, there'll be other videos. This one I want to focus on working with files. Now, File Explorer is something that we can use well, to manage the files that we have. You may or may not have on your taskbar an icon for File Explorer. I mean, if you do, it's great. You just click on it and then you're in File Explorer. If not, if you don't have it, then finding it, well, one thing you can do is that if you come down here to the lower left-hand corner and just start typing file, F-I-L, well, there you go. So File Explorer came up as being one of the applications that's there. So just with typing a few characters, I might have been able to type less than that, I wasn't paying attention, just typing a few characters, then there would be the app on the list. Let's say for some reason you don't remember the name of File Explorer. You know, is it Files Explorer? Is it, well, let's say you don't remember the name. If you just click on the sort of the window in the lower left-hand corner, one thing it should give you is a list up top is the most commonly used or apps, of which File Explorer then will be one. If it's not one of your most used, now by the way, when something is listed as most used, it's pulled out of the list down here. But if it wasn't up there, it would be here, well, in this case under the S, but you can kind of scroll through and see where things are. So again, whether you start it from the taskbar, so either starting it from here, or from here, typing FIL, and then picking File Explorer, or clicking on the Windows icon and then clicking on the File Explorer. So there's different ways to get into it. Now, let me talk a little things about views. One thing that you may notice is the view of your File Explorer may look different than mine. One thing I did, let me just go and collapse this for a second. I, by default, expand the toolbar that's up top. So there's this little down arrow here, and when I expand it, then I can see the icons that are under, basically on this sort of like toolbar that's in the top of File Explorer. So one thing you may have to actually go and then click on that so you can see the same options. One other thing I'll say in general is depending on the size that you make the window, the icons here may appear a little bit differently. Meaning if we shrink it down, see how under here select, things disappeared and just had a down arrow. But if I widen it back again, then I actually see the options. So one thing that you may have to do is you may have to widen by changing the width of the application in order to see those icons a little more fully. And by the way, that also is going to apply to Office. So if you start Word and the toolbar up top looks different, you may have to widen Word, in case it's not taking the full screen, to then see what's there. Okay. In the upper left-hand corner is Quick Access. And there are things that, there are folders that are there by default, and then there are ones that you can add additionally to there. The ones that are default are the desktop, documents, downloads, and pictures. Downloads would be files that you have downloaded. By the way, the one that's here is the tool that I'm using for doing the screencast. So that's the thing I just most recently downloaded. But what I want to focus on right now is the documents. Now, again, your list of items here may look a little bit different. One thing I do want to point out is, do you notice how those two right there, they're like a paler yellow than the others? That's because, and if I go under View, one of the things I have clicked is this Hidden Items. And with Hidden Items shown, we're clicking Show Hidden Items, then these folders which are hidden are actually going to show up. If I deselect hidden items, then they don't show up. So it's just something that, the idea behind hiding something is that if you don't want someone to accidentally go into it or accidentally delete it, what some companies will do is they'll hide their folders, and Windows does the same thing. They'll hide some of their folders so that, like if I go over here to this PC and then I go into the C drive, we'll see that if I put on the hidden items, there actually are some folders. Like one here is program data, which a lot of applications, Microsoft applications, use the program data. And so just by showing the hidden items, then we can see, well, those hidden items. The other thing that I have selected that you may not have selected on yours is the file name extensions. So mine is currently checked. Now down here, this is a BAT file and a text file. A BAT file, by the way, in general, if someone mails you a BAT file, do not click on it because it actually is a script and it can do things. And a text file is just a plain old text file. But if I click this file name extensions, then we don't actually see. So actually it looks like I see the same file name, dirlist. I have to look to the far right over here for the type to see one is a Windows batch file, the other is a text document. But if I show the file name extensions, then I can see the .bat and the .txt. So this file extension here, if you go from the right-hand side of a file name and start going to the left, by the time you get to the period, then from the period to the end, that's called the file name extension. And what the operating system will do is it uses that for associating a file with a particular application, meaning that because this thing ends in .bat, it knows that it's something it's going to try to execute. Because this ends at .txt, it knows that it's associated with, well, in that case, Notepad. And as we go and create our Word documents, we'll see that there's going to be a docx for Word, .xlsx for Excel, .pptx for PowerPoint, and .accdb MOUSC for Access. Okay, I got carried away there. Sorry. But and what happens is when there is this file extension, you double-click a file, then it knows basically what to do. So if I click on this dirlist .text file here, now this is something I was doing for another class where I wanted a list of my directories, and so I captured the file, but when I double-clicked it, it opened Notepad. So it's because of that file name extension. If you ever try to change the extension, the operating system will warn you, saying, hey, you're really sure you want to do this? Because it's trying to prevent you from having to do that. Okay. In preparation for the class coming up, the class that we're in preparation for literacy, one of the things you might want to do is set aside a place to actually do your work. And so within the documents folder, what I'm going to do, and this is, you don't have to do what I'm about to do. I'm just doing this as a suggestion. If you want to keep your classwork separate from everything else, you might want to create like a classwork folder. So if I go over here, well, one thing under Home, there is this new folder icon. And when you click a new folder icon, you get, well, what it does is it literally creates the folder and calls it new folder, but it highlights it, and if I start to type, it will overwrite that new folder. So I'm going to call this classwork. Is classwork one word or two? We can always go back and rename it later. Classwork. And then I'll hit, see how I still have my blinking cursor there? I'm still in like entry mode, and then I'll hit enter, and then it'll accept it. Now, there are certain characters you cannot use in folder names, and if you attempt, one thing I'm going to do right now is I'm going to hit F2 on the keyboard, and so when I hit F2, it puts me into an edit mode. And this is something we'll see again, by the way, when we go into Excel, that F2 will put us in edit mode for the formulas that we have. So it's this F2 is sort of a common function key that can be used. Oh, and by the way, and I haven't let me just hit enter. One thing I haven't figured out, because I've been having trouble hunting through it, is if I am using my touchscreen, I don't know if I mentioned this, I'm on my tablet right now, having trouble finding the on the keyboard, this keyboard here, the function keys. There might, anyway, it's just one of those things that you may have trouble, if you're using a tablet, you may not be able to get that F2. If that is the case, so let's maybe not use the keyboard. If I go over here to the class work, now it's already selected, and if I just go and do a single click here, it now puts it into edit mode. So if you don't have an F2 key because you're using the screen, then you can just do a gentle click in there, and then you can go and rename it. A folder cannot be renamed if the folder is being used by another application. So let's say I had inside of classwork a Word document open. I would not be able to rename the classwork folder because Word is going to have a lock on the file that's inside the folder. So something to be mindful of is that you may try to go and rename something and it's not going to let you. Okay, so now let me go into this classwork folder, and let's just pretend for the next 2 years you're going to be here at Raritan Valley, and you're going to be here over a multitude of semesters. What you may want to do, and again, how you want to organize your files is going to be up to you, but since I'm just going to dump all my classwork here, I always think of my classes in terms of semesters. So what I might want to do is then create a folder just for the semester, so that this way, I'm going to do here summer 2017. Oh my God. Sorry, I'm using a tiny keyboard, and I have a wireless keyboard, a Bluetooth keyboard, and it's a little constrained. Anyway, so I do have this folder now created, the summer 2017. And so now let's say you only have one class this summer. Oh, I'm sorry, I should have mentioned what I just did. Let me go back. I can also use this for going back. I did using my keyboard, since summer 2017 is highlighted, I hit enter and it went into the folder. Okay. What I'm going to do just real quick is I'm just going to start Word real quick because I just want to show a couple of things that I had mentioned. And I want to also save, let me bring this down a bit. Let's do a blank document, blah, blah. And let me go and save. And let me save this onto this PC. And let me save it. Well, actually, I'm going to go, you know what, let me browse instead. Because I want to go into the subfolder. Oh, I forgot I had changed something. Sorry, I forgot. I have two document folders, and anyway, here I am. So let's go into documents, into classwork, into summer 2017, and let me just call this sort of like a practice document. I deliberately misspelled it because what I want to do is not with inside of Word. I want to go and rename it. I just realized I'm at 14 minutes, and since I'm cheap and I didn't pay for the Screencast-O-Matic, I'm only allowed 15 minutes. So this is going to be part 1, and I'm going to have another video that's going to be part 2, and we'll pick it up in the part 2 video. So with that said, look for the part 2 video. And we'll pick it up there.